Ciao, dost. Oh, good evening. Almost 24 hours to go before the big one. It is the Champions League final 24-25 between PSG and Internazionale Milano. And joining me in this stream tonight are Shivam in the house, our Latin football, South American football expert. वो थोड़ा PSG के ऊपर light throw करेगा. We have Sushant, and Sushant is continuing
Hello.
his streak here on Calcio, previewing every inter game before the Champions League right up to the final. And also joining us in a bit are Uncle Sharma and our in-house Param as well. Gentlemen, good evening. Good evening, Shivam. Good evening, Sushant. I'm going to be
Good evening,
starting.
Ajay.
Sushant, how excited are you, man? Almost 24 hours to go.
I don't know if I can sleep today, and hopefully I can get a good night's sleep tomorrow.
Lovely. I believe that you have an announcement to make. You are coming to Mumbai. Some sources of mine were
Oh,
telling me that.
yes. So Sony Live invited me to participate in Culture Charcha.
अरे कैल्चो
Sorry,
चर्चा
yeah,
नहीं चैंपियंस की
Champions ki
चर्चा
Charcha.
लेकिन
Sorry.
तू जाके वही बोल तू जाके वही बोल कैल्चो चर्चा ही बोल तू जाके बोल कि तुम लोग ने हमारे से ही नाम लिया है चर्चा वाला
चर्चा सेम है, खाली पहला अलग है. So I'll be heading to Mumbai just for that interview. Excited about that. I've been there before once. This time, thought I think long form hoga. The earlier time I had gone, it was sort of 15-20 minute preview. Sorry, it was a review of the Milan derby. It was Chintan and I.
राइट आई थिंक ये प्री पैंडेमिक रहेगा इफ आई एम नॉट मिस्टेकन
Ha, we had Pioli. They had, I don't remember his name. उसका वो मैनेजर था. हमारा Pioli था, as far as I remember.
तो रहेगा मेरे हिसाब से गटूसो या
नहीं. It was not a player. It was, I'll remember in a while. उसका tactics का discussion किया था. Yeah, sorry, we had Conte. We had just gotten Conte because I remember us discussing Lukaku and इसका Lautaro का hold up play and all. A fun experience.
लवली शिवम इन द हाउस शिवम आज तू थोड़ा पीएसजी के तरफ से आ रहा है यार हाउ एक्साइटेड आर यू just overall football spectacle inter PSG. Do you think these are the two best teams that deserve their place in the final?
Yeah, firstly, thank you, Ajay, for inviting me once again. And yeah, definitely, आप UCL final में पहुंचे हो, you have played some very good football, two very contrasting style of teams, दोनों different type का football खेलते हैं, and दोनों ने throughout the tournament दिखाया है, क्योंकि those who were thinking कि some other teams were very good, उन्होंने beat किया है, home पे beat किया, away beat किया है, and they very much deserve to go into the final, and बहुत मजा आएगा. So yeah, let's see.
Fab. यार before we get into the game, let me see who all are in the house. Because काफी comments आए थे. We have Robbie in the house. We have Kunal in the house. We have Oshu, सिद्धांत, अभिजय तो है यार. Zanoli तो जेनोवा का प्लेयर, कहाँ रोमा में खेला था Zanoli. Alessandro Zanoli करके जो जेनोवा प्लेयर है, पता नहीं किसके बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. Thank you so much for your support यार. यार गुड न्यूज आज थोड़ा है बिकॉज अगर आपने ये जो राइवलरी रूम करके शो देखा है अगर आपने सो उसमें भी एक सरप्राइज है दैट नेक्स्ट वीक इट इज चिंतन भाई हु वुड बी गोइंग एज अ पैनलिस्ट representing
That's great.
Yes, over there.
Nice, finally.
So finally we are going there as I would say one of the panelists, and deservedly so because the way that Inter have played this year, they have I think I would say जो भी न्यूट्रल्स है finally they can say that Inter are not an underdog team or hipster team anymore. There is a plan, there is consistency, and Simone Inzaghi has earned his bucks on the pitch by getting his players to perform the way they have. 3 years में second Champions League final है. Sushant, यार, just describe to all of us, how it felt briefly, the road to Munich, right from the group stages on to the knockouts. How do you think Inter grew and evolved in that phase?
This season, जैसे चालू हुआ था, we had this feeling कि Inzaghi is going to focus on the cup, and even I said I would rather, as a fan, have the Champions League rather than the Scudetto. The 20th का जो था, that was the milestone. But now I would rather have the Champions League क्योंकि वो, it means so much more. And group stage matches, sorry, this was the first year with the new format in which the big teams were also playing the big teams, pot one. So it was a toss up. कैसे होगा, क्या होगा, extra matches का concern था. But I think Inter did extremely well in the first 8 games.
Yeah,
One
yeah,
goal conceded, and उधर I think at that time अभी मेरे जो academy के बच्चे हैं उनको तो they are all City, PSG, Barcelona, Real Madrid, all the
but
usual, and I
but
don't
but,
blame them.
wear-
उनका exposure
but
ज्यादा
wearing
है. So
but wearing Nerazzurri jerseys.
मुझे समझाना पड़ता है उनको significance colors का. So, and I don't blame them. I blame the Italian infrastructure for not promoting this league, man. I mean, जो दिखता है वही बिकता है. If दिखेगा ही नहीं तो उनको क्या समझेगा.
Fair
So
enough.
anyway, and then in see before Inzaghi and after Mourinho, in that period, knockout games were a dreadful experience for me. I mean, पता ही नहीं चलता था कौन सा इंटर आने वाला है क्या. And even
बिल्कुल.
after Inzaghi, I think last year, right? Atletico का shootout में गया. But even then, there
Yes.
was a sense that this team cannot be taken lightly in knockout competitions. So
Right.
now there was this kind of a fortitude कि मैच देखते वक्त भी I am not lying, but जो रफीनिया ने गोल मारा उसके बाद भी I didn't give up. It doesn't matter if I gave up or not, but as a fan, I didn't give up. I was really expecting something to happen, and Acherbi popped up. So yeah, last 16 में इनको थे PSV, correct? PSV थे ना?
किसके लिए?
Feyenoord अभी this
Inter,
season last
Feyenoord,
16
Feyenoord.
Feyenoord,
Feyenoord.
sorry,
Feyenoord.
PSV Juventus को हराया था.
Yeah.
Feyenoord, that was a straightforward game. Bayern Munich one was a big, stress source of stress for me. वो देखने के time, the first leg it felt like it was topsy turvy. The second leg we went ahead, and so then Kane scored. They went ahead, and I was in the feeling कि बाबा कुछ तो करना चाहिए. And it's a very nervous experience this season. I don't know why. Even though I know they have it in them, the fact that I know we could win, the team can win, and still they might not hurts more. क्योंकि जो बीच का banter era था तब तो win was a bonus. हुआ तो हुआ, नहीं हुआ. That was expected. And the Barca match, I mean, I'll remember it till I die. No other words for that. Both legs. Insane experience. I just wish I was there live. The
Absolutely,
road has
man.
been
Seven.
tough, and PSG का भी tough है. इसका भी tough हुआ था. Both teams deserve to be there, and nothing but respect to PSG.
When coming to you, Shivam, yeah, very, I would say, mixed group phase for PSG, almost getting knocked out actually in the group phase only. And then ये अपन ने थोड़ा shameless plug-in करना है मेरे को. कल एक वीडियो आ रहा है मेरे चैनल पे जब शिवम और मैं, we've recorded a video where he's gone in detail, like मतलब इतना detail में गया about the
Nice.
whole PSG and Inter journey. So शिवम, ग्रुप स्टेज में पीएसजी थोड़ा हड़बड़ा रहे थे उन लोग, और देन लुइस एनरिके फाउंड दैट मैजिक फॉर्मूला. Then came the knockouts, which was an all English affair for PSG. Just run us through the entire road to the final for them here.
Yeah, so PSG season can be basically summed up two halves में. जो उनका फर्स्ट हाफ तो काफी स्लॉगी था, काफी शेकी था. एनरिके को अपना कॉम्बिनेशन नहीं मिल रहा था. एंड जैसे अभी सुशांत भाई ने बोला कि इंटर हैज दिस इज लाइक देयर सेकंड फाइनल इन 3 years. बट अगर आप पीएसजी का भी रीसेंट यूसीएल ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड देखेंगे, सो उन्होंने भी लास्ट 6 में 4 सेमीज खेले हैं. एंड दे हैव प्लेड 2 फाइनल्स इन लाइक लास्ट 4 years आई थिंक. सो 21 आई थिंक दैट बायर्न गेम, एंड एक ये वाला अभी इनका होने जा रहा है 5 years में. So they are also quite bit of experience. And there's one thing कि आपका एक साइकिल चल रहा होता है कि आप कितने तरीके से हार सकते हो. जैसे we are always associated सिटी के साथ. कभी उनका स्टर्लिंग का वो जो गोल था उससे नहीं हो पा रहा है, कभी लियोन उनको हरा दे रही है, कभी ऑफसाइड गोल्स आ रहे हैं. सो काइंड ऑफ पीएसजी का भी अभी रिसेंट पास्ट ईयर्स में कुछ ऐसा ही ट्रैजेक्टरी चल रहा है. कभी एम्बापे आपका सिटर मिस कर रहा है फाइनल में, कभी आपके प्लेयर्स इंजर्ड हो जा रहे हैं, कभी बुफॉन से गलती हो जा रही है दैट यूनाइटेड गेम. So they are also in that kind of a cycle only. But अगर हम specifically इस सीजन और जो नॉकआउट सीरीज से बात करें, PSG have been brilliant. मतलब अगर आप एस्टन विला का जो सेकंड लेग, जो आपका सेकंड हाफ था, अगर आप उस स्ट्रेच को हटा दें, so उसके अलावा काफी अच्छा फुटबॉल खेला उन्होंने. And they have shown कि why they should be counted amongst the best teams in this Europe. And I'm very happy that they are there, especially for Luis Enrique, especially for players like Pacho. So yeah, let's see what happens. And I think बहुत ही अच्छा मैच होगा फाइनल में भी.
Fair. How clutch has Donnarumma been here, guys?
Excellent.
Excellent.
Yeah, he's been and
उसका बीच में rumor था he might come to Inter. Still fingers crossed.
Ooh.
सो
Yeah,
डोना का क्या था ना कि अ, डोना का ना अभी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट खत्म हो रहा है, तो उसको
Hmm.
ये वाला, क्योंकि जो लास्ट 2 सीजन था ना डोना का, वो भी थोड़ा शेकी था, बिकॉज जो 2 साल पहले जब पीएसजी एलिमिनेट हुआ था ना, दैट मैड्रिड गेम, उसमें जो आखिरी जो आपका विनर आया था बेंजेमा का, उसमें डोना ने बॉल दे दी थी। फिर उसके बाद
Hmm.
आपका बायर्न म्यूनिख वाला गेम में भी उससे थोड़ा सा एरर हुआ था। सो पीएसजी फैंस वर लाइक बेसिकली कि ये सीजन है, अगर इस सीजन भी नहीं हुआ देन वी लुक फॉर आवर अदर ऑप्शंस। एंड आपका जो फर्स्ट हाफ ऑफ द सीजन था वो भी काफी शेकी स्टार्ट हुआ था, बट यूसीएल नॉकआउट्स में और जो सेकंड हाफ में डोना ने परफॉर्मेंस दी, दैट हैज बीन इनसेन, ब्रिलियंट परफॉर्मेंस फ्रॉम जॉन लोजी डोनारुमा।
we have Uncle Sharma in the house, and yeah, Uncle Sharma, I'm going to put you right, in the firing line.
Oh
Donnarumma to
no.
Inter, yes or no?
Yes. Let's do it. See.
How?
He agrees.
Lovely, lovely. So, Rahul, naam to suna hi hoga. We
Yeah,
have
sure.
Sushant in the house. I don't know if you met Sushant, but
Hello.
just to give you a small background, Sushant is from Pune. He runs his own academy, Inter Club India member, and
Oh,
of course
nice.
his academy's kids. Kids are wearing Neret Zero kits, And we have Shivam in the house. He's our South American football expert, and he's going to be throwing light on the whole PSG, side of things. So,
Mm,
yep, we've just started discussing the path to the final for both PSG and Inter. If you could share your thoughts with the chat on both, the respective journeys of PSG and Inter.
Yeah, no, I mean PSG. I guess you guys. I haven't been able to listen to you guys, but they've had like two different sort of Champions Leagues almost. The first, the group
Yep.
stage, they were almost out, and they didn't look very impressive. And for the last few years, I always said, "Oh, give me PSG in the knockouts. Give me PSG."
Yeah.
And now this year we get them finally in the final, but it's the year that I don't want them because it seems like they've figured everything out tactically and with the coach and with the players. So yeah, they're probably, I think, stylistically, probably the best team in the competition, I would say.
What do you make of their road to the finals, defeating a lot of English teams on the way, the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal, Aston Villa as well?
Yeah, I was, because I live in England, so I was watching it. Especially the Arsenal game. I was at the pub with the Arsenal fans, and that was a nice moment just to see the Prem Todd suffering. Yeah, but I mean that I would say that gives them the extra. I guess, yeah. I mean, I guess it depends how you see it. Hey, you guys. Um, if you think that the English teams were the best in the competition, but I think Inter beat Barcelona, who I think were the best team in the competition. But after that, I guess you could say PSG beat the two other best teams in the competition because I think Liverpool, with how well they were doing, I mean, they cruised away with the group stage, and then
Mhm.
ended up not even getting anywhere near the final. And then Arsenal looked pretty impressive as well, outside of when Inter beat them as well. So yeah, I think both teams. You can't say they had a Mickey Mouse run to the final. Like, Inter a few years back, people were moaning that we played Porto, Benfica, and Milan on the way, which is fair enough. But this time we played, apart from Feyenoord, we played all the big teams.
Yeah, yeah. A Feyenoord who had beaten Milan, by the way,
Yeah.
in the round of 32. So quite an impressive Feyenoord team there. But also those games, man, those games against Bayern and Barca, especially, I think the Barca games have caught everyone's eye. I mean, those two games are now probably, I would say, it goes down in folklore in being one of the most competitive games in this year's Champions League, if not of all time. Quickly, Rahul, if you can just, what was going on, man? 7-6, 3-all in the first leg, 3-all in the second leg, and then you have Davide Fratesi scoring that late winner, which was eventually the difference maker. Your quick thoughts on those two games.
Yeah, I mean, Sushant will know it was just crazy. Blood pressure, BP was too high. It was, yeah. I was kind of at, the Cherby goal. It was just completely out of the blue. Like I was not. I had little bit of hope left, but after Rafinha scored, I thought that's it. This is the end of it. But this team just, it has something. They've been saying it since the start of the season that we've been seeing as Scudetto, Serie A. They just clearly they weren't focused enough. But in the Champions League, there's something about these guys. That's why for tomorrow I'm going in confident, man. I'm going in really confident because these guys are, yeah, different beasts in the Champions League this year.
Fair, fair. We also have Yogesh in the house, Campione d'Italia. Well, as yeah, he's just gone now. When
He's like
announcers
Conte
arrived,
because
very,
sometimes he's
very
in.
yeah, very, 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 like his manager Conte. But he's just here to rub it in, guys. He's just here to rub it in and just shout Campione d'Italia. But I have a question for either Sushant or you, Rahul. This is from Abhijay and chat. आप लोग questions पूछो, ask your questions to both Rahul and Sushant, and PSG questions can be directed to Shivam. So aging defense. Now, I don't like to stereotype, but HRB with his age, of course, you have Bastoni who's in his prime. Who's going to play? Is it going to be Bisek or Pavard? If you could just take this question.
I should hope it's Pavard. I heard he's fit, and he's, I think, undisputedly the starter when he is fit. And I think he adds that extra tactical aspect to the game that Bisek doesn't. Bisek adds physicality, yes, for sure, but he's a bit young, and this is the grandest of the stages in club football. So I can see you
I told you all. I told you all.
enjoy it
Go
while
on.
it lasts, man. Yeah. So I would hope it's Pavard. And I think when you talk about football players, aging is a aging defense. The adjective is a double-edged sword because age also gives you experience, and experience gives you the tactical nous. And we clearly have tons of tactical nous as seen in the past two games. So I wouldn't say they will have problems. Of course, they will have problems. We are playing against one of the world's best teams, but I think they will have it in them to deal with those problems. If not outright, at least enough to win us a game.
Fair. I think we lost to Sushant Odai.
Oh, sorry. What did you hear last?
Uh, the whole aging fact, and then there was a pause. But
Okay. Sorry. I was saying that age also brings experience,
fair,
and
fair,
with
fair.
experience, you get the tactical nous, and they have clearly shown their tactical nous over the past few games. So, like I said, they will of course have problems because they are playing against world-class players, but I think they
Yeah,
have it in them to, adjust and adapt and get the
yeah.
better of PSG.
Yeah, I have a question for you, Rahul. Now you know that HRB is excellent, in terms of dealing with those classic number nines who are physical and who have the brute force like a Erling Haaland. But here he faces a very different challenge in the form of Ousmane Dembele, which Shivam, I want Shivam to eventually throw light on his role now as that false nine, the way that he kind of drifts away and brings the wide players into play. How different and how difficult is it going to be for HRB and the rest of the inter defense to contain this very fluid front three of PSG?
Yeah. I remember even in the Barcelona game, when it was confirmed that Lewandowski was out, a lot of the Inter fans were like, I don't know even that this is a good thing or bad thing for Inter because then you have Ferran Torres, who's kind of similar in that sense that he's going to float around and try to find spaces and move our defenders where they don't want to go. So yeah, usually the Cherby, he likes to play like a Haaland or a Osimhen or a Harry Kane, someone that's a bit more stationary, a proper old school striker. So I think it's going to be interesting. It depends. I think it depends which area he goes to. Is he going to go in like the left half zone, like towards Pavard or Bisek, or is he going to try go on the Bastoni Di Marco side? Like that's going to be the interesting part. Because I think if there was one mistake I think Acerbi made in the whole tie was when Ferran Torres kind of got in behind him in that first leg. So it definitely is a talking point.
Yeah, and for the first time, I'm also seeing Kvicha Kvaratskhelia play on the right. Never did it for Napoli. Yogesh, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but here he's sacrificing himself for the Luis Enrique system. And coming to you, man, how are things down south in Naples? Party mode on, still on?
Yeah, party mode is on. I think it will be on for quite some time.
Yeah.
But honestly, my two thoughts on this match, it's a massive match for Inter, it's a more massive match for I think Italian football in general, and for the sake of Italian football, I hope that we have a good result.
You know what? This man, Yogesh De Laurentiis, had predicted at the start of the season that Napoli will win the Scudetto and Inter will win the Champions League, and he wanted Inter to go deep, in the Champions League so that they can falter in Serie A. That's exactly what happened. So you never know. His predictions could come true yet
But
again.
Yogesh, if Inter doesn't win the Scudetto, I'll always root for Napoli. I have no hard feelings for you, man. You earned that Scudetto.
Yeah.
Thanks,
We're not
buddy.
losing sleep over that.
Yeah, Shivam, yeah, if you can just throw some light on what I feel is, the most informed midfield trio of Vitinha, João Neves, and ex-Napoli man Fabian Ruiz. Uh, how impressed have you been with this midfield pairing, man? The trio of the PSG's midfield.
I think this is one of the most technical midfields in entire Europe which I've seen this season. The amount of hard work along with technical ability which all these players bring to this PSG's midfield is insane. And displacing someone like a Warren Zaire-Emery, who was usually a regular PSG starter in that midfield, by João Neves, who had just came this season in Liga, is talks volumes about his quality. He has been absolutely brilliant. His hard work, his interception, his ball winning capability has been very good. Fabian Ruiz, obviously, I've been following him since his Real Betis days, and throughout his career, he had many different partners. He had different roles. Like I remember when he started at Real Betis under Quique Setien, he used to play as an advanced midfielder
Yeah,
with Cuadrado and India at his back. Then when he came to Napoli, he started playing in that double pivot under Gattuso with Diego Demme. After that, his midfield partners changed. He adapted very well his position with Zambo Anguissa and all those guys, even in Napoli. So he was very crucial part to them. And now here in PSG, last season onwards, he was playing with a Vitinha who was not that effective due to his role not being properly defined with Carlos Soler. And during the start of this season, Fabian Ruiz was iffy. His form wasn't that best, but in the second half of the season, he has been insane, and especially the last game which he had against Arsenal, it shows volumes about his quality. He will definitely give you almost 7 to 8 out of 10 consistent performance week in and week out. And Vitinha in general, who was basically a Wolves reject because he
yeah,
can't do
yeah.
it.
Premier League flop Vitinha.
Yeah, because he can't do it at Wolves. So he came to PSG. He had a very hard time settling in at PSG as well because initially under Galtier, Vitinha didn't know what was his clear role. He either used to play sometimes as an advanced midfielder or sometimes as a deep line playmaker, which is not exactly his specialty. Now he has that defined role that okay, now you will have to sit at the base of midfield. You have to be a very active circulator rather than just passively circulating the ball, influence more into the attack. And apart from these three, one player which I would like to mention, which we were talking, is Usman Dembele. Rahul Bhai has said that Usman Dembele is someone like a Ferran Torres. I think Ferran Torres in this new Hansi Flick system is like he stays a bit further ahead, whereas Usman Dembele in this Luis Enrique system drops very deep into the midfield, provide that extra number, and then links up with either your Desiree Doué or Kuicha
Yeah.
Kvaratskhelia, and from there the attack starts. So basically, he is used as that false nine who baits the press. So that will be a very interesting battle how this inter midfield of Mkhitaryan, Chalanoglu, and Barella will counter against them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have a comment from home. Would you start someone else instead of Mkhitaryan against PSG? Simone Inzaghi's first name on the team list is Mkhitaryan. Correct me if I'm wrong,
No.
guys. I mean, that's what it is. He starts with Mkhitaryan. Cannot do without
Yeah.
Mkhitaryan.
If
Yeah,
he's fit, he
yeah.
plays.
And
Yeah.
And
speaking
I
of
think
that,
he has also ran the most distance for Inter in many games.
speaking of that great Mkhitaryan hairline, we have Param in the house.
What's up? I'm not here for
Hello.
long, man. I have a lot of work, unfortunately, but nice to join as always a day before the Champions League final, and good to see Rahul finally.
Yes, bro.
Obviously, the last time he was here in India, I couldn't be there, And Sushant also, as always, he's also going to be on Champions Ki Charcha tomorrow on national
हो गया,
television. So
बोल दिया हमने, बोल
Nice.
दिया. And
yeah,
Sushant actually
and
said
Yogesh,
that,
unfortunately,
Param,
huh?
Sushant actually said that he's going to be on Calcio Charcha.
Wow. Yeah, that's nice. But Yogesh is also here, of course, flaunting his Scudetto with the whole. Uh, yeah, exactly. Of course, good for him. Conte is staying as well. But yeah, we can talk about the Champions League final here.
Yeah, Param, I'm throwing a question directly at you from your best friend Avijay. There's no Shivam. Okay, I'm sorry. But Param, you can give Inter's perspective on set pieces. Shivam, if you can
Yeah,
answer
I think.
this.
Sorry, what
I
was
think
that?
this will be
The question is for Shivam, the
Yeah.
PSG set piece, defending, and then y'all can tell about how good Inter are on set pieces.
Yeah, I think this is one of those areas where you can actually hurt PSG because even in the Liga games, they have struggled on set pieces. And uh, I was reading before the semifinals, PSG have actually conceded 35 to 40% of their goals in their local league via set pieces. The
Yeah.
problem is you don't have very tall players. Marquinhos is generally a good attacker of the ball, good header of the ball, but he is also very short. Fabian Ruiz is tall, Pacho is tall, but apart from that, you don't have very tall players in set pieces. That is why in the second leg versus Arsenal, if you have noticed, for the initial 5 to 10 minutes, Arsenal were troubling PSG from set pieces via throw-ins. But after that, they did a slight tweak and they started throwing a lot of bodies in the box. Donnarumma either punches the ball to completely clear it out. That's one, or either they throw a very 7 to 8 players inside the box that someone should clear it. So this is one particular area which I think Inter will definitely look to target PSG.
Yeah, you know what? I can actually say this after having watching Donnarumma throughout the years, having watched him. He is not a good catcher of the ball. He just comes and flaps, especially in those
Mm,
those
mm.
corners.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think Inter will and have to take advantage of the set pieces. So throwing the floor to the three of you, how good are Inter, man? I mean, set piece FC experts, and the way that the Inter team choreographs a set piece is amazing to watch.
Mm. No, I think you said it right because I think it's well orchestrated in the first place. As you see, even if you see any one of the goals, it's all the movement on it and most of it, how they lose their man. It's very well planned, most for the most part. And I think I agree with Shivam. You know, I've watched a lot of PSG games this season, and the stat in this case speaks for itself, right? Like they don't look as convincing on set pieces, while obviously while defending it. Like there's no one reference point in that defense you can look and say, "Arey, yeah, this is the guy that will clear most of the balls or will win any aerial duel." Like we can look at ourselves and say, yeah, we have Acherbi who will win most of his aerial duels, and he'll do anything to win that aerial duel. So PSG, while they have good defenders, of course, you have Pacho, you have Marquinhos, obviously they're not as commanding basically. And Inter, on the other hand, were quite aggressive in their attacking while attacking set pieces. Like you see, as Shivam said, in terms of body orientation and all, you have Bisek as well. Bisek scores quite a lot of headers when he plays. Of course, not that I don't think he'll be starting tomorrow, obviously, but in general. So I mean, I think at this point they're just quite experienced simply at various situations, as is said about us, how we read the game, how different, how we can come up with different solutions. So definitely we have to take advantage of set pieces. You cannot have one of those days tomorrow where Inter randomly miss tons of chances. I think Rahul will know how we are famously known for missing tons of chances in other competitions, obviously, and in the past in the Champions League as well. But this season, at least in the Champions League, we've been very clinical. So that has to continue because this is a much improved version of PSG. They've grown into the season as it has gone by, and you can see how technically gifted almost each player is. So yeah, you basically it tells you that whenever your chance presents, you have to take it, and most likely set pieces will be very crucial basically for us. So yeah.
Fair, fair.
I'll just want to add one more point. Not only the entire set piece, like if you complete your header, you miss the aerial duels. Someone like a Chalanoglu outside the box would be very, very important because during that
Yeah,
Aston Villa game, we saw Ezri Konsa hitting the post once. Morgan Rogers barely missed that chance. So even if PSG applies that tactic that we'll throw a lot of bodies into the box, 7 to 8 guys to clear any ball, the guy who's gonna latch upon those loose balls outside the box, someone like a Chalanoglu, who by the way has an insane shot. He can
Yeah.
also drive in some shots and can test Donnarumma. So that will also be a challenge, that who is that PSG player that is gonna guide or that is gonna mark Donnarumma outside of the box. So this is where I think Inter also need to take their chances if they get it. Yeah.
Fair, fair. Coming to you, Rahul, how clutch has Denzel Dumfries been for Inter this year, man?
Yeah, he's been unreal, man. He's probably, I don't know what Param thinks. I think it's either him or Bastoni as our player of the season. It's crazy to say. Like, I've always liked him, but he's never been my favorite player. But this season, he's just gone to a new level. And yeah, if we were in the Champions League, those Barcelona performances, he's gonna go down in history, man. He's gonna be goated for those performances.
Absolutely,
Just
man.
before Sushant gives his opinion, I agree with him. Like Dumfries was always a player I liked, but like I didn't hate him as much as our community did. I think Rahul knows about it, how much hate he received online. But
Yeah,
like I always acknowledge he had deficiencies. Like, he wasn't the most intelligent player. At least he wasn't technically gifted. But he always worked hard. He always, showed it, that grinta, as they say. And I always kind of appreciated that. And this season, I think he kind of deserves it. This moment, because as Rahul said, actually, Rahul, I have been saying he's probably Inter's best player in 2025. I've been saying this along, and like I have felt he's the best outright. So kudos to him. And without him, I don't know where we would have been. It's crazy to say that, because just 2 years ago he was one of the most deficient players in this team. So yeah.
Yeah, you could
Sushant,
say we even those 2 or 3 weeks that he was out injured. You could even say we lost the
Yeah.
Scudetto there.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Sushant, another clutch player, man. Jan Sommer, and for
Oh
me,
man,
I'm hashtag goalkeepers union, so I will always speak about goalkeepers. How good has Jan Sommer been, man? Finally
I
getting
didn't
his flowers.
expect him to be this good. I really didn't expect him to be this good. I mean, I know Marotta has a knack of getting good deals
Yeah,
and getting players that fit the system, but this guy has been, and he's ice cold. I've hardly seen him flustered. He's just there. And so he has Handanovic's mentality, but better reflexes and shot stopping, I feel. And the last game, the Barca game, I think most of the crowd who didn't even realize that he had tipped the ball away from goal. I mean, that was
yeah.
such a good save, and he
Very, very
deservedly
similar
will be
to
among the top
very
players this
similar to
season.
Julio Cesar in the
Very
treble winning.
similar. I was just going to say Dumfries is the next Maicon, for me at least.
Yeah.
And
It is
no one can
pretty than
forget his dalliances with Theo Hernandez. I love him for that, if nothing else.
Of course. Oji, I think we, at least on Calcio Chacha, we speak very highly of Marcus Thuram, man. I mean, I think we don't leave any stone unturned when it comes to praising him. But if you all could, I mean, even as a neutral, when I was watching that Barca game, that first goal, I felt that one, Marcus Thuram did not celebrate enough, and two, had it been any, I don't want to stereotype, but say an English club, English player,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
goal would have been everywhere. What a
Everywhere.
backing, pure class. How good has he been this year for you all, man?
See, England has taken over the media in football, at least in English-speaking countries, which is, I guess, the majority of the world. And nobody, see, people don't even know it's Internazionale. They feel it's Inter Milan. That tells you how much exposure Italy has. If one of its best teams, they don't even know that the true name is Internazionale, and nobody even bothers that. Even see people on, famous talk shows and all, Inter
Yeah,
Milan. That's
yeah.
I don't know if they mean it disrespectfully, but I've never liked that. And when a player, I mean, if Lautaro was playing in Real Madrid or Barcelona or any of the English teams, he would have been in the Ballon d'Or top three race, 100%. It's just there is not enough exposure, and Italy has that stink of culture poli. I don't know what it is, but they never get the respect they deserve. Even if we beat PSG, I think it'll just be nobody will think of this team as one of the greats. I even have people saying 2010 was a fluke, so I just ignore that stuff now.
Fair enough. Kabir, he's basically asking you, Rahul, where you going to be? Are you going to be in Munich or Mumbai?
No, I'm actually going to be in Sicily of all
Oh,
places.
nice.
Oh wow,
Yeah. So I booked this holiday ages ago, like in August with my wife, and I didn't even think ahead to like that there could be a Champions League final. So I'm flying out tomorrow. But I found this is a tip as well. If you're traveling and you want to watch a game of your team, just look for your local club. Like for me, it would be like an Inter club. So I'm going to
Hmm.
Syracuse. So I found Inter Club Syracuse. I've hit them up, and I'm going to watch the game with them tomorrow as soon as we land. So
That's
that's the
great.
tip.
That's awesome.
Which
That sounds
reminds us that we also have a screening obviously tomorrow, Ajay, but you should might as well plug it in at this point. Yeah, go ahead.
absolutely, absolutely. So we have a screening tomorrow at Andheri East at a place called Rodeo. So yeah, I mean, hit us up. We'll give you the invite. You can send a DM on Instagram, or if you're part of the WhatsApp community. WhatsApp community, I think we already put it on. But Yogesh, if you can share that link of our multiverse of WhatsApp, you can join
Yeah,
the
yeah, sure.
community. And we'll we already posted details over there. So join us. We have Kabir who's going to be with us. Param, unfortunately, is going to be in Ahmedabad of all places. Sushant is going to be in the Sony studio promoting Calcio Charcha. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, we do have some interest in the house. Probably the only screening I can positively say in Mumbai, or even India for that matter, where we actually have Inter fans.
Yep.
So I don't know about PSG, but
I,
Inter fans
I can tell
representing.
you I can tell you that there are more Interisti in Mumbai, but unfortunately a lot of them can't make it, due to other commitments. So at least we have maybe one or two at least showing up. Hopefully more out of the blue. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, I hope people join in because we are expecting I think over 150 people or so. So
Oh,
we
Yeah,
would have loved to be there, but unfortunately can't be there yet. But yeah, I hope more and more people join. So yeah.
that's sick.
yeah, yeah. Siddharth, please come here. If you're from Pune, you can
Hello,
come with
Siddhant.
Sushant to Mumbai, and
Yes.
you can come to the screening and watch the game as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
fair, fair. Any comments, Param?
No, no, just ignore his comments, man. Just ignore his comments.
Who commented? I didn't see that.
Yeah, the only reason I'm supporting PSG is because of
Ah,
Ligan's
average
poor
shooting.
coefficient. Fair enough. He's a
That's
Monaco fan, if I'm not
Monaco
wrong.
fan.
Yeah.
Arman
Okay.
bhai, Arman.
अच्छा
Yeah,
यार
fair enough. Fair.
कृषाणु आज हम
Milan,
लोग
Milan,
मिलान
Milan, we can discuss on another stream, man. We have like a whole off season left to discuss all the transfer rumors and whatnot. Uncle Sharma and me are here keeping our fingers crossed that Simone Inzaghi stays after the
Oh
Yeah.
Champions League.
God, I don't even want to think about that.
Yeah, I'm not
That will be
thinking
the
about it,
ultimate
but
betrayal.
yeah, we don't
guys,
know.
that is exactly what I was coming to after. I was going to come to that a bit later, but since Param has brought it up, I'll get to that. This comment, Rahul. So in India, when you're growing up, it's always a popular saying that what are you doing in life? Look at Sharmaji's son. He's achieved so much. You've only
Yeah.
got 30% in your boards. Look at Sharmaji's son. He's got 90%. Oh, you've got a job
Yeah.
for a year. Sharmaji's son. So Sharmaji's son is the benchmark.
Right. Okay.
That's the metaphor that
You
we
might
use.
want to use it now going forward, I guess. Every time
Yeah.
someone says something.
You look at him and learn. Usko dekh aur seekh. कुछ ऐसा है.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
But
But
but guys,
yeah,
Simone Inzaghi, let's come to the Inter manager. Uh, do you think, irrespective of whatever happens, those Al Hilal links are true? Will he be tempted to move away? Considering if hypothetically Inter wins, but he's won all the trophies. Do you think after the Club World Cup maybe he'll try to find a new challenge?
yeah.
I don't
Look,
think so.
yeah, no, look, the thing is, I mean, we all know. I think he's going to have a proper meeting with Inter after the Champions League final. I think 2 days or whatever they reported. Now, I think all of us Interisti know that he's done an incredible job with the minimal resources he's had, like plus Valenza, all these things, ending the transfer market on a profit and whatnot. And I think I don't think he's unhappy per se, but I think he's like, you know what? I also need some assurances, especially with the ownership change. I think all of us agree that Inter will head in a different direction now, somewhat different direction, not entirely, signing a bit more younger players, which you could argue that Inter they needed to kind of lower their average age, but I'm sure somewhere in there he wants some kind of guarantees on the transfer market. And just for this, current path to continue and slightly get better. And I don't know if he feels the same way if we were to have a suddenly to have a very young squad or whatever, or a different vision. So I feel more than unhappy. It's like him seeking assurances. Yeah, let's continue the path or at least get slightly better, because there is a great culture at Inter. There's no dressing room issues, none of all that. The players, they're happy with each other. They're happy with the coach. So there's no toxicity internally. It's just that I feel he wants certain guarantees, and he openly said it the other day. It's not even rumors at this point. People who believe that he's accepted offers and all, with all due respect, I mean, I think they need to first, use their common sense and see that he openly claimed that he has offers from Saudi Arabia. He has offers from Italy, which I wonder who. He even said he has offers obviously from abroad as well, outside Italy. So he's openly claimed it. So he's not hiding it. And I think he spelled out the situation that I'll have a meeting with Inter. So it's as simple as that. Now, and he even said that I'll consider what's best for Inter, and I will also consider what's best for Simone Inzaghi. These were his words. So I don't see anything wrong with it. As he said, he's currently focused on the Champions League final. So are we. So I don't really want to dwell that much on it. Whatever has to happen will happen at the end of the day. I think as Interis, we are used to that kind of heartbreaks when we saw Jose Mourinho leave after the 2010 Champions League final. Didn't even get onto the bus and didn't even come for the trophy celebration. So we are used to it. So, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. See, we are personally, I'm not like, even if he decides to leave, I won't be that upset. Obviously, it will be a big disruption to the cycle, but for me, the club always comes first. But if you ask me my opinion on whether he goes or leaves, I think he'll stay. I think he'll stay for 1 year, and if he doesn't like the situation, then I think after that is when he'll quit. So I think 1 year he stays, and then he takes a stock of the situation, and then we'll see what happens.
Fair. What do you all think, Rahul, Sushant, Inzaghi, final swan song, or does he continue?
My gut feeling is that if he wins, yeah, he does the Mourinho. He wins, and we see him hugging a Cherby, crying, hugging a Cherby, like he was hugging Materazzi. And yeah, because then he's got nothing. He's got nothing left to win with Inter. He's won everything. He's completed a cycle, and then I think he's also tired. I think it's very tiring being the Inter coach. It ages you by, I don't know, in dog years. So I think, and it's true. I think a lot of Inter fans, when I made a video on it the other day, and a lot of them were saying it's the media, it's the Saudis and the Qataris getting together to destabilize Inter, which might be true, but at the same time, I think if it wasn't true, Inzaghi would have come out and said it's all rubbish. But he kind of, as Param said, it kind of confirmed that there's clubs wanting him. So yeah. And the names that were linked with afterwards, like Allegri is gone now, and then they're saying that it would be Fabregas the number one target. It's like, oh, please don't go.
Fabregas. I'll just, before Sushant gives, I like Fabregas, what he's doing. I don't think he's ready for Inter, though. I'll be very honest. I don't think he's ready for that level. Yogesh is smiling in the background. He's like, if Simone Inzaghi goes, I'm sure he's like, it's a full reverse effect. Conte was about to leave. Conte is staying now. Juventus don't have a coach. Gasperini is going to Roma mostly again, and Inter might not have a coach. So he's smiling. He's like, I have Conte staying. I might get De Bruyne. I might get Jonathan David. He is in party mode. Yogesh, we'll get your thoughts. But yeah, Sushant, go ahead.
See, I feel if the offer had been from a legacy club, Real Madrid, Barcelona, that the rumors, then I would have thought that Inzaghi might leave. I don't think he's at the stage in his career where he'll go and chase money without having a lasting legacy. Right now, he is not spoken about in the same breath as, the Zidanes, Ancelotti's. He's pretty far away. And I think Inter has made him as much as he has made Inter. So I don't think he's ungrateful. I don't think he wants to chase money. And I have a feeling, I'm not sure, that behind the scenes, Marotta must be working his ass off to keep him there. And as Param said, our situation is not as dire as it was during Conte's time. So it's not like we have to sell our crown jewels. We might not be able to buy, insane players, but we don't need to, as is clearly seen by his transfer strategy. And I think there is still an evolution of Inzaghi yet to come in Inter, which we will hopefully see.
I'll quickly take your leave, guys. I have some work, but I think I'll leave you guys with a prediction, might as well. I think I don't want to actually forget it. I'm not leaving a prediction this
Okay,
time around. It's, no. It's a Champions League final. Forget it. Not leaving a prediction. But as always, thank you, Uncle, for to Rahul for joining in here. We hope to have you on future streams like a proper post-season awards and all. When we do it, hope to have you on it as well. Thanks to everyone. Shivam, as always, repping the South American side, but giving his insight on PSG as well since he watches a lot. Yogesh, I'm sure you're in party mode, man. Like, continue and please give your thoughts on this stream further. And Sushant, thanks as always. I
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I just hope we win here. I don't want to say PSG don't deserve it because PSG have also had a great path to the Champions League final, but I feel this is like I kept saying this throughout the season that this feels like a genie in the bottle type of moment for Inter because that there's going to be a different cycle after this. I just mentioned it, and I don't know after this when again we'll reach a Champions League final. I don't think like in the next year or so. At least it might take some time. So we have to win this. Luckily, we have a full squad available, so that's there. Even PSG has a full squad available from what I checked. So I just hope we can show the same level of maturity we have done in the Champions League so far. And yeah, man, just win it finally. I think we've waited too long, like
And you
15
forgot
years and
we don't
whatnot.
have Lukaku
Gone.
anymore.
Yeah, we please, please don't jinx it. I don't want anyone to have the Lukaku moment as well. Forget him, keep him aside. 15 years we've waited. We've gone through a banter era. Yeah, as you said, we've had Lukaku moments. We've seen everything. And I think at this point, as fans, we've grown too much, aged too much to wait any longer. So I hope Inter can win this and get us the fourth Champions League in our history. So all I can say is Forza Inter and ciao ciao guys. See you soon. Thank you for
See
joining
ya.
in.
See you guys. See you, Param. Shivam, what do you think? How do you think PSG are going to take this game? And simultaneously, I'll also pull out the predicted lineup for both PSG and Inter. If you can just talk us through what looks like the predicted lineup will be for PSG. Yeah, here it is. If you can see the screen. So
Yeah.
Donnarumma in goal, and is the defense going to be the same? Do you see any changes here? Mendes, Pacho,
No, no, I,
Marquinhos.
no, I think defense will be same. Also because they don't have any backup for Hakimi because Enrique does not trust Yoram Zague, their academy product, and in his absence, Neves has played right back a lot of times. So this will be the defense.
Fair, fair. And Kvaratskhelia to start on the left, or will we see Bradley Barcola coming in over there?
I think Quara will start in this game, and considering the form which he has had ever since joining PSG, that has been insane. The only thing which could change is between Desiree Doué and Bradley Barcola. Uh, a game like Inter, a team like Internazionale is something which is tailor made for a player like Desiree Doué because Bradley Barcola generally tends to perform better against those teams throughout the league season and throughout the Champions League phase, who gave a lot of spaces to run in behind. Generally, even during the Man City game, even when their defense was not, very good, Matthias Nunes was advancing a lot. Then Bradley Barcola has tons of spaces to run in behind against a team like Inter, who generally sits deep in certain phases of the play. I'm not saying that entire phase, they sit deep in certain phases of play, attract the pressure to themselves. I think Desiree Doué's dribbling could work. The
Yeah.
only con here is that Desiree Doué is not that effective on the right hand side, on the right wing, than he is on left wing because Quara and Doué both are naturally left wingers. So you will see very fluid interchanges between the front line throughout this entire game. Quara, Dembele, Doué, all interchanging their positions,
Fair,
which is a
fair.
very
Sushant,
typical of Enrique's team as well. Yeah.
true, true. Sushant, Rahul, your thoughts on this predicted Inter lineup? Do you see any changes? Is Pavard going to play 100%? Do you feel that Carlos Augusto might pop in somewhere in a last minute surprise?
I don't think
No.
so.
Okay.
Sorry,
Yeah.
you go on, Rahul.
No, I was going to ask you, Sushant. I was asking some Inter fans earlier as well. The thing with Bisek not starting is that means Bisek comes on as a substitute, and that's usually when he's been more prone to making errors. Whereas actually when
Yeah,
he
he's not
starts,
in the
he's
game.
pretty good.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
But I don't think Simone will, that's a possibility, but Pavard playing better than him is a guarantee.
Hmm.
And in a match of this magnitude, I think he needs to take that chance. And if we are, in a comfortable place by then, the pressure might be a bit less on Bisek. I don't think he'll risk getting Devray instead of Bisek. Bisek will come in during his program subs. But I have a feeling we'll have the game wrapped up by the 60th minute. I don't know why. 2-0, I
Oh.
think so.
Wow,
Hmm.
wow. I was going to say that
This
I have a
seems to be
feeling.
our year. I don't know why.
I was going to say that I have a feeling that this game will go to extra time, and
No,
that's
I
where
don't think
maybe
this
a
is going to
Bissek.
extra time.
Yeah,
I
but
think
like
Pavard's experience will also come into play. Like he has played for Lille, so he knows the opposition. PSG, not these set of players, but he knows against uh, how to work against these French teams. So his experience might also come into play.
Hmm.
That's true.
And you can always bring on Darmian instead of Bisek if you want to
Yeah.
be. Yeah.
yeah, and of course you have Fratesi waiting in the wings, man. I mean, coming up with clutch moments in this year's Champions League.
Two
We'll
two
never know.
passes completed.
Rahul, I have a question for you as well. If Korea or Arnautovic were to score the winner, what would you do?
Korea is not there in the squad, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
luckily
Oh,
Korea is
yeah,
not
yeah.
part
Sorry,
of the
he's not there.
squad.
Sorry, Arnautovic.
Oh, Arnautovic. Then
Oh,
he
man.
then you have to keep him for forever because that means he's the lucky charm. He was there in 2010, even though he was like a
Yeah.
cheerleader, and then then you just have to keep the guy.
I
All
just wish
right, all
Korea's
right.
goal would have mattered more in the last game. Absolutely.
I think Arnautovic missing that chance against Lazio was criminal.
There are so many moments
Uh,
which still haunt me.
Yeah.
Fair, fair. So, gentlemen, we've come to that time of this stream where we're going to take predictions. And I'm going to start with the most, not biased, but I would say someone who's on the fence, Mr. Yogesh, champion in Italia Scudetto again. Do you have any soft spot for your ex Napoli guys, Fabian Ruiz and Picha Kvaratskhelia? Are you
Yeah,
backing them?
definitely. Yeah, no, I'm not. I definitely have a soft spot for Kvaratskhelia, especially. Fabian Ruiz was also a great player when he was with us, and
What about
we got
Zielinski?
good.
Zelensky.
So Fabian Ruiz was also one of the good players. I'm just happy that they are getting to play in such a big game. But all those things aside, as a Napoli fan, as a Calcio fan, I hope that Inter wins this game, and I hope they win it convincingly. Like it's not like some random goal goes in the 90 plus 3 minute and Inter won it. I want Inter to win convincingly and show the world that what Italian football has been about and why Italian football should be talked about more in general. So that is my
What are your
expectations.
predictions, score predictions.
2-0 Inter.
Wow, a repeat of Munich. Someone was actually, Siddharth had asked any thoughts on the Munich final theory where there's a new champion that gets crowned every time there's a Champions League final in Munich. Shivam, do you think that's going to come true again? Do you think PSG are going to get their names etched in history?
I I'll be backing a very narrow 1-0 PSG win, but it could either go 1-1 and maybe in the penalties Donnarumma
Ooh,
wants Inter.
Donnarumma in the penalty shootout. Wow, wow, that's
Yes.
that's a scary
I, I
proposition.
mean, I mean, I have a very soft spot for Luis Enrique, his entire journey story for what he did in Spain and how, just like people don't like, I personally rate Simone Inzaghi very much. I think Simone. One thing I want to ask, I think Simone Inzaghi was the manager when Alexis Sanchez got that red card in that Liverpool game, right?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that was one particular game because I still feel because if Alexis didn't got that red card in that game, Inter would have came back in that leg as well. Couple of years back. So from that point onwards, I feel that Simone Inzaghi is a very much, tactically nuanced guy, and it's very sad that he isn't getting any respect. And I can say the same for Luis Enrique as well, because still I see a lot of people asking and saying that he's a very mid manager. He only did what he did Barcelona because at MSN he managed Spain at a very transitional phase. So have that sort spot for him. So I'll be going for a 1-1 draw and maybe Donnarumma in penalties.
Wow, wow. What about you, Rahul? What are your predictions for the game?
Yeah, I was seeing a 1-1 as well, extra time, but hopefully not penalties. I think in to take it in extra time.
Wow, wow. And who do you think is going to score that extra time goal for Tezzy?
Oh, bro, it's hard to go against that guy. But I think Denzel. I think he's gonna be that guy. He's just gonna carry this legacy till the end of this Champions League.
Fair. Sushant, your predictions?
2-0. 2-0, like I said. And I think what works in Inter's favor to a great extent is many of these guys know it's their last chance and they will give, I think, 150%, not even 110. And I think we've played in Munich, we've played against Bayern. There might be a familiarity aspect to that. I don't know if that matters. But this heart and soul which they have poured into the Champions League, I don't think they'll let it go lightly. They'll fight to the last second. 2-0
Yeah,
Inter.
2-0 Inter. Just quickly, we have spoken about this, the game, man. So you can just go back and, basically check this out. Combat shot goes for a Inter 2-1 win. Abhijay is just trolling here. 4-4 with Aslani. Wow, wow. Uh, this is something which obviously you all will know, the whole Pazza Inter, the ability of Inter to make it difficult for themselves. Siddharth goes 3-2 to Inter, or Mkhitaryan scoring a screamer. Now that would be something, man. I mean, Mkhitaryan just needs to win the Champions League to complete his set and complete European football. He's won the Europa League and the Conference League. Cristiano
I
goes
have
for
a,
two PSG win.
I have a feeling in the Inter goal might come on counter because we have known Luis Enrique's team for over the years, and you Ajaba also know that game where against Lecce where Juan Guillermo Cuadrado and Luis Muriel scored that goal.
Real.
That Barca game where Mandzukic and Dybala scored that goal on
Yeah,
counter, even that Atletico. So Luis Enrique's team has that vulnerability on counters which teams can hurt, and Inter is a perfect team who can exploit this vulnerability. We have seen that against Bayern as well. Lautaro winning that that ball, and then the entire 2-3 touches counter attack start. So I have a feeling if Inter scores, then it most likely it could be via counter attack as well.
fair, fair. The game has gone 4-2 for Inter. My prediction was the game goes, into extra time after a 2-all draw, and I was kind of predicted Inter will win in extra time. But just for fun, I want the game to go to penalties and then Donnarumma to come out on the other side, and Inter wins from there.
Please, for our health's sake, don't say penalties.
Actually, Sushant, it is a lot of fun to watch penalty shootouts when it's not your team that's playing.
Yes, I was just going to say, I wish I were a neutral in this final.
I
Yeah.
still can't get over that Sevilla Roma shootout. I think a part of me
Uh,
died that night. But anyways, guys, I think that is it. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you everyone in the chat who participated. If you have any last minute questions, just throw it. We'll try to take it before we wrap up. Thank you, Yogesh. Thank you, Shivam. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you, Sushant. 24
Thank
hours to go
you.
almost, guys. I'm sure that you guys will be really, really nervous. Any pre-match superstitions that you have, just to wrap up the
I'm,
stream? Rahul,
this is the same jersey I'm wearing that I've worn on every preview. I just
wow,
wear it for the preview. I keep it in the cupboard. I wear it again. I keep it in the cupboard. That's my superstition.
fantastic. What about you, Rahul?
No. I'm not superstitious. I mean, I haven't even got time for it tomorrow. I'll be flying literally like an hour before the game, so I'm gonna be just rushing to try and get to the bar in time.
Fair, fair. Just
Hope you make it, dude.
just giving a small shout out that Calcio Chacha are hosting a screening in Mumbai tomorrow of the Champions League final. Details are in our WhatsApp chat. You can join the community. So Shant is going to be on national television, Indian television. He's going to be representing Inter Club India on Champions League Chacha. That is a pre-game, post-game, and a mid-game show. Where obviously, are you alone or do you have anyone else with you?
No, it's just me from Inter, right? From
From
Inter
Inter.
is just me. I don't know who they've gotten for PSG.
Yeah, they'll probably have a Neymar or a Barca fan who probably doubles
Yeah,
up as a
who watched
PSG.
PSG during that era.
Yeah, could be, could be. But yeah, that's about it, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone in the chat.
Thanks a
We'll be
lot.
back soon. Next time, stay tuned, like, share, subscribe, and enjoy the game tomorrow.
Yogesh, I
For
hope
all of
we'll
us.
join you in your party soon. Joint party.
Forza
Yeah,
Inter.
man, sure.
Per
Ciao,
sempre.
ciao.
Forza Inter. Yep. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao. Thank you, Shubham. Thanks, Yogesh.